So good afternoon and welcome to today's Uplift with Vision. My name is Jeanne Phillips. I'm one of the staff ministers at Vision, and it's my delight to join you for this Uplift. Today I've been reflecting on the mystery of life. Nothing really big, right? Anyway, that's what I want to talk about today. But first, as always, we begin in prayer. Just so grateful to be here, to be part of this eternal life, this mystery that is life, the wonder, the joy, the beauty, the love. I know that is all spirit right here, right now, within each and every one of us. It is the good of God. It is the good of life. It is the good of all. And so I align with this and just give great, deep thanks for the opportunity to be part of this divine life. Knowing that it is good, I simply allow it to be. And so it is. So we're coming up on Halloween. I'm walking around our neighborhood and seeing a lot of spooky decorations, right? Ghosts and goblins and pumpkins and jack-o'-lanterns. And I was thinking about the history of Halloween. You know, its origins, it dates back 2,000 years to the ancient Celtic festival that was called Samhain. It took place mostly in the area that's now Ireland and the UK and northern France. But you see, the culture there celebrated their new year on November 1st. That was the time that marked the end of summer and the end of the harvest and the beginning of the dark, cold winter, that time of year. And so they believed that the night before the new year was the boundary between the worlds of the living and the dead, that boundary became blurred, and the ghosts of the dead returned to earth. So on October 31st, that boundary blurred. And they thought that the presence of the ghostly spirits made it easier for the Druids or the Celtic priests to make predictions, to predict the future, because the veil was so thin. Right? So on the night of October 31st, they celebrated Samhain, wearing costumes of animal heads and skins and attempted to tell each other's fortunes. It's a fascinating history. And, it makes me think about, there's just this natural impulse that we have always had to embrace the mystery of life, the mystery that is life, and a desire to celebrate the wonder of being alive with its endless mysteries, right? Einstein believed the key to life is to embrace the mystery. He put it this way: the most beautiful experience we can have is the mysterious. It is the fundamental emotion which stands at the cradle of true art and true science. The mystery, the mysterious. And, I continually embrace and surrender to the mystery in my work as a hospice chaplain. I work with my patients facing the end of life, and in that I have the unique opportunity to witness a larger perspective, the higher point of view, the divine unfolding in front of me. My patients look to me for guidance, but in truth, They really are my teachers. They are my greatest teachers. I'm thinking of one of my patients who was just an amazing example of what happens when I follow Spirit's lead. I'm going to call her Phyllis. She was a voracious reader and a freelance writer most of her life until a stroke took away her ability to communicate and clouded her mind. Her son told me that she had been a religious scientist and actually was still a religious scientist. And so I offered to bring some old Science of Mind magazines to read aloud to her, and he welcomed that. You know, I've saved those magazines for years and have quite a stack, ample supply to give away. So just by random, I randomly chose 3 magazines off the shelf and noticed they were at least 10 years old, but they did correspond to the next 3 months. So I thought she might enjoy following the daily meditations. So I brought those issues with me at my next visit and read a short article by Ernest Holmes to Phyllis. And I couldn't tell really if she could follow the words, but I did notice she was listening intently, and I thought that was a good sign. And over the next few weeks, her full-time caregiver also would occasionally read to Phyllis some articles as well. And one day, she came across a section of the magazine that features the 2 or 3 short stories that are submitted by readers around the monthly topic. And she was stunned to see Phyllis's name under one of those stories. Yeah, she had written in, and her submission had been published in that month's magazine. I mean, how cool is that? But even more amazing was the story. The story was about the experience that Phyllis had while she was caring for a close friend of hers who was dying. Right? She wrote that she was sitting at the bedside when her friend took his last breath. And she suddenly knew, without a doubt, there was a God, and that death is absolutely nothing to be afraid of. She beautifully and elegantly described this transcendent experience of hers, the feeling of the divine in and as and all around her. And so as I read the story aloud to her, I was just moved, first of all, by the beauty of her words and awed by the synchronicity and the absolute perfection of this message finding its way back to her at this time, just when she needed to hear it most, as she faced her own illness and death. So, goosebumps, right? So that's a story of riding the waves of mystery. It's amazing, isn't it? How spirit moves when we give it space. Yeah. And I have to admit, that's not easy. It's not easy for me. I'm sure it's not easy for you to be in that open and receptive space all the time. Even within moments to remember it's there. It takes practice. It takes faith. Right? There's a great quote by Rabbi David Wolf. It's in his book, Making Loss Matter. And he says, faith is not knowledge of what the mystery of the universe is, but the conviction that there is a mystery and that it's greater than us. Right? Faith is not knowledge of what the mystery of the universe is, but the conviction that there is a mystery and that it's greater than us. Faith, yeah. The conviction that the mystery is greater than us, allowing the gears of the universe to turn silently until a solution is found. Right? I mean, what that does, that requires patience and trust trust and patience. And of course, that's very uncomfortable and even scary sometimes, even when we know better, right? I mean, I often think about, we know that if we cut our finger, it will heal if we just put a bandage on it and leave it alone. Right? The body knows what it's doing and what to do. And that's the same with our lives. There's a benevolent healing force that sustains and guides us to the perfect solution. We just need to surrender to it, to let it do its work. Once we've done what we can do at the physical level, we must step out of the way and make room for the co-creator, the divine intelligence, to play its part. And then we get to just watch how it reconfigures circumstances all around us, bringing about a perfect solution, a perfect experience, like Phyllis, right? Ernest Holmes says this magical connection that we have with spirit is like the story of Aladdin's lamp. I don't know if you remember that. It's a Middle Eastern folk tale. Aladdin is a poor young man living in a small village, and he finds a magic lamp, which he rubs, and a powerful genie appears. The genie is duty bound to do the bidding of the person holding the lamp. And so after many adventures, Aladdin lives a life of abundance and love, happily ever after, right? So here's what Ernest Holmes says. He says, you are Aladdin. God has already given you the light. The genie will spring forth at your command. The lamp is inside us, right? It's already there, along with the power to create at our every desire. Isn't that cool? Yeah. So he goes on to say, rub your lamp with faith and conviction. In other words, trust the universe. With grateful acknowledgement and acceptance, with feeling and imagination. In other words, think big. Don't stay small. Think big. You got this. You got the genie. And finally, he says, the wick of your lamp runs deep in the oil of universal life. It draws its power from a limitless source. For God is all the power there is, all the presence there is, all the life there is. Right? God is all the power there is, the presence, all the life that there is. You know, it's important to remember that the flame it's not fed by the wick, it's fed by the oil that's drawn up by the wick, right? And we're the conduit, the wick, that's soaking up the oil of universal life and spirit, right? So I just invite you to soak up that truth, right? To revel in the mystery this Halloween and beyond, and embrace the wonder of being alive, even in this time, especially in this time. So let us pray. I just invite you to close your eyes and settle into your heart, breathing in the sweetness of this moment, this day. Just standing in awe of spirit and all that I know. I know that there is only one life, one love, one law. It is spirit, operating always, everywhere, moving into a greater expression of its life. And I know that I am one with this divine life, that it is ever flowing through me, for me, as me, with me. It beats my heart. It breathes my breath. It is my essence, my source, my supply. And because there is only one, I absolutely know that this divine life is the same life surging through each and every person listening to these words. I know that love lights and paves the way along the path of our lives, providing, protecting, supporting, and abundantly supplying all that is needed. I know there's nothing lacking, nothing amiss in spirit. And so we are fully open and available to receive the wisdom, the health, the healing that is our divine birthright. And so on this day, as we embrace the mystery, we give way to that divine within. Grace unfolds us. Love showers upon us. Peace blankets us. Opening our hearts ever wider, ever deeper to the divine. Falling into the mystery which names and claims us as we travel this path that we call life. And so I'm so grateful for this opportunity to deepen, to explore, to discover, to recognize the forces, the faces, the aspects of mystery that is life. Through this work, we are greatly blessed. And so it is. Amen. So thank you. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for sitting in the mystery with me. And don't forget, tomorrow, another uplift. So tune in. And meanwhile, have a wonderful day. Namaste.